In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make $20,000 to $30,000 a month training athletes all online by using your Instagram account and creating simple online training programs so that way you can train more athletes, make more money, and detach your income from your time, all without having to add more in-person sessions. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how you can create online training programs that get really, really great results with your athletes, how to actually market yourself on social media, and sell an online training program for over $1,500. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. So this is how sports coaches are making $20,000 to $30,000 training athletes all online. Okay, this training is going to be super, super value packed, but only for coaches who are training 10 to 30 plus athletes a week. The exceptions to that are somebody if you already have access to athletes already, like let's say via social following or like a local club. This can work for people if you don't already train 10 to 30 athletes a week. It's just going to take you a little bบlonger, which is fine. You're still going to get a ton of value out of this video. But if you're coaching 10 to 30 plus athletes a week and you're capped at the amount of lessons that you could do because of, you're tied to an in-person location in order to make money and serve athletes, and this for you, right? If you have a desire to be truly independent and free, okay, truly financially free and have time freedom, if that is you, this training is specifically for you, okay? If you have a growth mindset and you want to challenge yourself, if you have like a fixed mindset and you're sitting here like, oh, I don't think I could ever train athletes online, then this video is not for you, okay? This is for people that are actually willing to look around and recognize that it's 2025, okay? And online training is only going to get bigger. So if you have that growth mindset, then this is for you. And you're ready to promote yourself on social media. Social media is not going anywhere, okay? You can fight it or you can lean into it and understand that it's the best way to reach your ideal type of athletes, okay? So if that is not you, then I suggest you click away from this video. If that is you, then ladies and gentlemen, I have an absolute banger of a training for you, okay? And we're gonna get into it. But if you don't know who I am, okay, my name is Nick Neville. Look, super cute. Okay, I'm the founder of a company called Just Coach. We've helped over 250 sports coaches across 13 different sports expand their training businesses by using social media and online training, right? These are some of my clients and events that we've hosted at my house. These are a handful. This is literally my living room, as you can see the background right there. This is at a dinner that I took a bunch of my clients to, right? This is actually my head of client success right here. His name's Matt Ross. He's an absolute beast. You can look him up on Instagram. Absolute content wizard. Here's one of our clients, Ian, giving a presentation. We got a bunch of people taking notes, which is pretty cool. And then here's me and my guy Omar on my balcony, right? So we've helped a ton of people do this. This is actually real, and we've been doing it for a decent amount of time, okay? But it wasn't always like that, right? Here's my story. I started off as a baseball player who all I wanted to do was make baseball my full-time job. And so I got really into hitting Twitter when I was in high school, and I started realizing that I could actually teach myself how to get better at baseball by watching the videos that people posted on social media. And I started learning all about training programs and strength training and all that different type of stuff. And it actually served me decently well. I ended up going to the University of Notre Dame, San Jac, which is a top junior college in the Houston area, South Carolina, and Southern Illinois, where I ended up setting a school home run record there at Southern Illinois. And as you can see right there, August 30th, 2012, my goal was to play at a high-level top 40 D1 school. I actually played at 3 of them, and make baseball my job, which ironically enough, it kind of is my job now, but in a runaround way. I did end up playing a little bit of professional baseball, but I quickly realized that it wasn't what I wanted to pursue because, to be honest with you, I probably just wasn't good enough. I didn't really have access to the information early enough to make the adjustments necessary that I needed to in order to achieve all my goals. So I did what a lot of athletes do. I gave in and I got a job at a 9 to 5. This is me, my first day working at a mortgage bank. And I pretty quickly realized that it wasn't for me. There was a lot of people around me making a lot of money, but I realized that I wouldn't trade places with any of them, despite the fact that they were all quote unquote millionaires and living a great life, right? So I actually ran into this book called .com Secrets, and it actually taught me the power of the internet and how many people you could reach and the possibilities and everything like that. So I decided to start trying to figure out how I could make money on the internet while I was working my 9 to 5 job. And one of my teammates actually moved into a house here in Scottsdale, Arizona, where I live now, and was like, hey, I want to start training athletes out of a backyard and doing it online. He had a little bit of a social following. And so we started an online training business. If you're in the baseball space, you're probably familiar with this place. It just popped up out of nowhere. And long story short, we had a ton of success, okay? In the first 30 days, we had made over $20,000 in the first 30 days on the back of my business partner's Instagram. Here's me in the dugout out of Savannah Bananas game. And this is in May of 2023. We did $32,000 cash collected. That was our best month. And here are two Stripe accounts. Okay, this one has $121,000 in it right there. And then this one had $125,000. So we did about $250,000 in sales in just 10 months and trained over 250 athletes, worked with Division I athletes, pro athletes. We had MLB players come throw in our backyard, the whole nine, okay? We worked with a ton of really, really high-level athletes, all because of the power of online training. And unfortunately, we ended up splitting up, just like a difference in vision and opinion. And, you know, I had to figure out what I wanted to do. After that, I wasn't sure if I wanted to start my own company or what the case was. But fortunately, I'm probably the most well-connected baseball guy that you've never heard of if you've never heard of me before. And one of my friends put me in contact with a guy by the name of Drew Richard. And if you look him up, he's got a pretty big social following right now. And he was struggling to do online training, and I ended up helping him, eventually hit his first 20K a month. But as you see right here, 20 clients in 14 days. You can go watch the case study on my YouTube channel, actually, and I'll walk through exactly how I did that, okay? But basically, I realized that I could help other people do exactly what I just did. I mean, I literally just trained 250 athletes in 10 months after, getting into the corporate world and not even being a pitcher, right? So I figured something out, and I realized that I could actually help other people do this exact same thing, okay? And it's worked for a ton of other people too, right? And the results are so good that a lot of people think that that we're not even telling the truth, okay? But you see Ian right here, 10K for the month on December 2nd. He ended up having a really big month that month, okay? Reagan right here, $17,000 in 23 days since launching her program. Reeves did 6 to 7K in this month. Callie over here signed a client for literally 4 months of $13.25 a month. So anybody who thinks parents won't pay for online training, that's an absolute joke. That's proving you wrong. It's probably just because you don't know how to sell the online training, which is I'm going to show you in this training, okay? Victor right here, first 10K month. Carl over here, he actually added $75,000 to his training program. He had a huge wait list and capitalized on it via a hybrid program. Andy Barquette right here was a MLB hitting coach and an MLB player. He did over 18K in March. Peyton right here, 15K. Anderson Miller right here, 9.5K collected in March, and he's obviously past that right now. You can look him up. He's pretty big in the baseball space. Anthony right here, 25K in February. Jordan literally had an $8,500 weekend. Colin here made 15K in 11 days. Omar had hit his first 10K month. He now does about $30,000 a month with an online recruiting service. And I can just go on and on and on and on. You've probably seen a lot of these people on social media, and you're wondering, how are these people doing it? Even Lucas Kephart right here, the Hit Lab, he's got like hundreds of thousands of followers. Joe Zeller right here, he's got 80,000 followers. One of my clients actually did $100,000 in a single month. This is actually only 93,000. So I'll say 93,000, but they did 100K that month. Ed right here did $10,000 in a month. Out of respect for my client, I didn't want to air out their revenue numbers, but 33K in a week, right? So the whole point that I wanted to bring to your attention is that I know what I'm doing. I've helped a lot of people, okay? And we've had some pretty insane results. So if you're still around and you want to learn how to actually do this for yourself, I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly what you need to do, okay? But first of all, we need to get very, very clear on some things, okay? What online training is and is not. Number one, it's not Zoom lessons, okay? It's holistic player development. So if you're like, why would parents pay, let's say, $1,300 a month for online training? Well, they're not paying $1,300 a month for Zoom lessons. Nobody would pay for that. I wouldn't pay for that, right? It's a holistic training program, and I'm going to walk you through how that actually works, okay? Athletes can actually get even better results than in person with online training, especially in a hybrid situation. Now, there is a caveat. You must have the right athlete. If you're working with athletes who aren't that serious, then this is probably not going to work, okay? You need to work with like serious, committed athletes, okay? These are not generic programs that you sell for $30 a month. And quite frankly, nobody wants a $30 a month program or just be in a school community and be a number, right? People want custom. People want attention. People want outcomes, okay? I'm going to show you how you can actually position your program as that solution, okay? Parents will pay top dollar for online training programs, right? That is why Callie can charge $1,300. That's why all these clients are making like real money training athletes online, okay? And there's a ton of them. There's literally a ton of them, okay? We have a ton of proof. It doesn't take years to set up a program or get this off the ground. You can literally do this in 7 to 14 days for the right person if you take action on the things I explained in this video, okay? And you do not need a big following to do this, okay? It's about getting in front of the right people. Imagine you're in a room of 500 of your ideal athletes. Could you convince 50 of them to buy you Chipotle burrito every day in exchange for helping them to become better in their sport and potentially land a college scholarship? The answer is yes. Chipotle burrito, at least in Scottsdale, it's like $13 a burrito, right? If you had 50 of them, pay you $13 per day. If you do the math on that, it's like close to about $20,000 per month training athletes online, okay? And there are a ton of athletes out there. I get some people saying that online training is saturated, right? Your local area is not even close to saturated. And the internet, you have access to everybody in the entire world. Think about that for a second before you think that online training is saturated, okay? So now that we got some of those beliefs out of the way, so that way you're actually ready to hear what I have to say, because I'm about to blow your mind. I'm about to show you exactly what you need to do, right? It really comes down to a 3-step process, okay? Number 1 is you need to lay your foundations. Number 2 is you need to actually create your program, right? And then number 3 is you need to develop and implement an acquisition strategy. So step number 1, okay? Step number 1 is to actually lay your foundations. And really what this looks like is creating an offer that people actually want to say yes to. Like a lot of people have questions about, should I sell $100 an hour if that's what I do in person? The answer is no, right? Absolutely not. Because why would anybody pay for your time when they could get the exact same thing in person, right? So what you need to do is you need to create an offer, first of all, of what problem you are actually going to solve and who you're going to help solve, right? So let's dive a little bit deeper into this framework, okay? So number 1, we want to identify who is our ideal customer, who's our ideal athlete. If you had only this type of athlete, then you could absolutely guarantee them results and you would love your life, right? You would feel so fulfilled. You would wake up every single morning and be like, how can I work with only these types of people? We need to define who that is very, very specifically, right? Because not everyone is going to buy a $300, $400, $500, $1,300 a month program, okay? And to be clear, $1,300 a month, like not everyone's going to be able to charge that, okay? But some people can if you're really, really good and you're really high in demand, okay? And you got to go after the right types of people who are willing to pay that money, okay? Who are willing to get a problem solved, right? So that brings us into step number 2. We need to define the problem, okay? We need to define the problem and understand what is the actual problem here that these people are facing. When you're selling your 1 hour of your time, all you're doing is you're just saying, I'm giving you my time. What problem does that solve? Oh, I just need a little tune-up. I'm going to come in and out and just abuse your time and just use you whenever I want, right? How does that make you feel? Absolutely terrible, right? Which is why I'm teaching you how to build an offer right now. So that way you can actually change your life by doing this, okay? So step number 2 is define the problem. Number 3 is we want to understand what the actual solution to that problem is, okay? We want to offer a clear and concise solution to the identified problem. And I'll show you some examples here in a second. You're probably like, Nick, this is all great, but like show me examples out. Like that's what everyone says, right? Show me real, tangible examples. I'm about to show you a ton of them, okay? So then we want to describe the outcome, okay? Because people buy outcomes. People buy nothing else besides outcomes, right? The only reason why somebody is going to pay you for an online training program or anything is they think they're going to get a very specific outcome, okay? And then we need to set the time frame. How long realistically does it take to get that outcome, okay? Realistically, how long does it take to overcome that problem and implement the solution to get the outcome that we're talking about, okay? Because most of you guys, you're only selling an hour of your time at once, right? That's why my clients are able to charge, $1,300 a month or like $3,000 for 6 months and get paid in full up front because they're selling an outcome for a specific set time frame. Okay? And then we need to have a unique mechanism. What makes you different, right? A lot of people go, oh, online training is saturated. No, online training is not saturated. You just don't know how to separate yourself. Because if you know how to separate yourself, you can always create a market. You can always be the niche. There are thousands of people out there trying to teach people how to make money online. But what do? I teach sports coaches because I can be the best in the world at it, right? That's why people come to me. That's why I've helped hundreds of people. That's why we get such great results, because I go after very, very specific people. Think back to the beginning of this video. Who do I want to work with? Okay? And you need to do the exact same thing. So that leads us into this framework, okay? I help Avatar overcome problem by using this solution to achieve an outcome in X amount of time through my unique mechanism, okay? And I'm gonna show you examples of what that is. And really the reason why you wanna lay your foundations first is so that way you can create a program for those specific people. You can create a marketing message for those specific people. You can create a price point for those specific people, okay? Everything goes after that specific person. And that is how you do this, okay? But if we don't get this right, nothing else matters, okay? I can go into a lot more tactics of like, this is how to build your program. This is an example. This is how you can pitch your hybrid program. I'm gonna show all of that in this video, okay? But we need to get the foundations right first. So with that being said, here are some examples, okay? Nick Zoris, one of my first clients ever, he helps catchers throw fire emoji, right? That's him shortening his I help statement. He helps high-level high school catchers overcome the problem of having a bad pop time, okay, by using a structured program to achieve a sub 2.0 program in 8 weeks or less through his Drop Your Pop program, okay? And then Anderson Miller, he's obviously one of our clients as well. Look at his bio. He cares about backspin. He simplifies hitting, okay? He helps high-level hitters overcome the overthinking problem that they have, or hooking the ball and rolling it over. They can't hit the ball with backspin, by helping them with a custom one-on-one mentorship program to start hitting the ball with backspin and actually getting the attention of professional scouts in let's say 3, 6, or 12 months is typically what he asked for as a commitment through his unfinished player development program, okay? And then we can see a bunch of other examples of people like this, okay? Lucas Kephart, we worked with him as well. He's building confidence through custom swing plans, okay? What is the outcome? He's helping them build confidence, okay? Callie helps pitchers dominate, okay? Mentor, she's doing a mentorship. Think about the positioning, how you position yourself when you're selling a mentorship rather than an hour of your time. Nobody cares about your time. I'm sorry if that offends you, but nobody cares about an hour of your time. People care, what can you do for me? What can you do for me? That is the question that you need to answer, okay? And when you understand that concept, when you start thinking like a business owner instead of a coach, and start thinking, oh, well, it's always been done this way, I'm gonna sell an hour of my time. The more you hang on to that thought process, the longer you're gonna stay stuck. Like seriously, online training isn't going anywhere. Look at all these people who are crushing it, okay? Look at all of my clients who are crushing it, okay? So let's get into some other offers, right? We got Will right here. He's a football player. He's actually a D1 football player at Boston College right now. He makes about $15,000 a month as a college kid. Okay, so what's your excuse? What's your excuse? If Will Straka can make $15,000 a month as a college kid, teaching people how to drop their 40 and land offers, then what's your excuse, okay? This is Omar. This is Omar's account, Elite Recruits. Okay, they use Twitter and Instagram, and they have like a recruiting offer. Here's Carrie. Right? She helps athletes land college scholarships, and it's a complete package, right? It's a holistic program. It's not just give me an hour of your time. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. Evan Mendoza, another one of our clients, right? He's been super, super successful, and he helps high school players develop into prospects. Okay, very simple offer. Jordan Kennedy, another one of our best clients, right? He's helping you build elite tools and stay healthy. Connor Bedell, another one of our best clients, right? He helps baseball players avoid injury through posture training. Okay, so they are talking about outcomes. Connor does like $30,000 a month. Jordan does $25,000 a month. Evan makes $20,000 to $30,000 a month. Carrie makes like $20,000 a month. Omar makes $30,000 a month, $15,000 a month for Will, right? And then so on and so forth, okay? So it's super, super, super important that you lay your foundations. If you want to make $20,000 to $30,000 a month training athletes online, then you probably need to copy these people who are actually doing it, okay? And that's why I use these examples, because they're actually crushing it right now. So with that being said, step number 2, we need an actual training program, okay? And typically we like to teach people to go hybrid first, okay? And if you don't know what hybrid is, it's basically where you train athletes once a week in person and then 6 days a week online, right? So here would be an example training schedule. You do your in-person lesson on day 1, then they follow the online program day 2, 3, and then day 4, they check in with like a video and a form submission. You send them feedback on, their swing or their throw or, whatever the thing is, right? This can work for, any sport, right? And then you go day 5, day 6, day 7, all in the online program. You have communication between. It's way more value than just one time a week in person. Okay, and the benefit of this is you can even go on a 14-day cycle where you see them every other week, or you could do it on a 1 month cycle where you see them once a month, and then you plan out the rest of their month, right? It just takes a little bit of thought. It takes a little bit of planning to actually help your athletes get results, right? So that's how the hybrid training cycle works. You conduct the in-person session, you have the online training, you assess their progress, and then you adjust their strategy, and then you do it again. And you can do it on a week, you can do it you can do it bi-weekly, you can do it, twice a week. You see them in person if you want. That's really up to the coach, and that's like what we help our coaches really figure out what works best for them and what's based on their goals. Right? But that is what hybrid training is. And the reason why hybrid training is so important is because, number one, you get better results, right? Because you have increased accountability, structure, and your athletes are going to perform way better as a result of that, right? Because let's face it, the reason why athletes get better is strictly because they are doing more reps over a longer period of time. And you probably get pissed off that your athletes don't even do any of the homework that you have, right? Because when you pay attention. And if you're not charging them for that additional information, they're not going to take it seriously. And their parents aren't going to hold them accountable to actually doing that work, okay? So this is why it is so, so, so important that you get this right. If you can understand the words that I'm saying right now and strictly implement a hybrid program into your business, your life will drastically change. You don't even have to do step 3, right, where we actually get into the marketing. But if you want to detach your income from your time, then you're going to want to stick around for step 3, okay? So it creates a win-win scenario. It offers way more flexibility, kind of like I talked about, where you can see your athletes once a week, every other week, monthly. You can create group sessions because of this, because you're allowed to, you're detaching the value that you deliver from your time. Okay, it's a much more scalable coaching service, and it's the perfect bridge into online training, right? This is why you want to do this first. Okay, it sets the foundation for your online program, right? So that way you can get experience training athletes online, and then you can start creating content that is just documenting what you're doing with your hybrid athletes, and it creates the easy transition to online, right? So how should I price my program? This is one of the most common questions I get, okay? So when you want to price your program, you want to think about, what is my hourly rate? Let's say it's $100 an hour, and you're going to see your athlete 4 times a month. This is like the most standard hybrid program, right? Obviously, there are a bunch of different custom options. If you want our help, then we could talk about that later. You could learn more about how we can help you. But in this specific instance, we're just going to use, like, you're going to see your athletes 4 times a week in person. You're going to multiply that hourly rate by 5. So like, let's say that would be $500 a month, okay? And then you're going to want to establish a minimum commitment, okay? You need your athletes to commit to you. You need your athletes to commit to working with you, because if they can just come and go wherever, think about what they view your time as. They view it as like they have access to it whenever, like $100. Like, seriously, think about it. $100 is nothing in this world. And they can just have access to you whenever for $100. And you never say no because you need that money, right? So if you want to continue to help athletes and you want to do it on your terms, you need to establish a minimum of a 3-month commitment, okay? That's going to get the athletes actually bought in, okay? And you probably have a lot of athletes that just leave all the time. Like they leave and then they come back, and they only come back when they think that they need your help, right? But they probably would never go through these ups and downs if they just trained with you the entire time. That's why it's so important to get the minimum commitment, okay? And then from there, you're gonna have the monthly cost of $500 a month, and then you can obviously offer payment options. And my favorite is to do like a paid in full discount. And a bonus could be you can even jack the price a little bit of the monthly rate. So you could even go to like $600 a month, right? So 3 payments of $600 for a total of $1,800, or you can prepay for $1,500. And now you're getting the $1,500 that you actually want, okay? So that's just a little tactic that you can use to price your program, okay? Now, how do I actually sell it? So many people are like, oh, I don't know if my parents would ever buy it, right? It's just because you don't know how to sell it, right? Do not cast your limiting beliefs on these other people because you don't know how to actually convey the value of this thing. That's what you're telling me when you say that, okay? So what you want to do is you want to set up a meeting with them face to face. You don't want to send out an email blast and be like, hey, everyone, here are the options of this program. Like, they're not even going to know what the hybrid program is. So imagine if you just got an email from somebody that's like, hey, do you want access to a program on a phone and you're going to pay me more money for it? Most parents are going to say absolutely not, right? Because you need to present the hybrid program as the solution to the problems that your athletes are facing, which is why you need to schedule a meeting so you can have an individual conversation with each athlete, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to identify their goals right up front, okay? You want to ask questions like, you know, what are you really trying to get? Like, if I was to do it right now to a hitter, right? A baseball hitter, right? What is really your goal with your baseball career? Like, are you trying to play D1, right? Why is that important to you? And figure out what their goals actually are. And then you need to ask them, have an honest conversation. Are you doing enough work to actually get there? Because, you know, I played Division I. I played at literally 3 Division I schools and arguably the top junior college in the entire country. Okay? I know what it takes to play D1 sports. Okay? And most of these kids out there, if they're only doing lesson once a week and they say they want to play D1, fat chance. Fat chance. There's just no way. It's way too competitive. It's way too competitive. And so you need to make them aware of that. Be like, well, are you actually doing the work that's required to achieve those goals? They're probably going to be like, well, I'm not really sure. Well, you can ask them, right? You can question the effectiveness. Well, how's that going? How many offers do you have right now? Do you have the offers that you want? They're probably going to say no, right? They're probably going to say no. And then that is when you can say, well, do you think that if you had more access to me 7 days a week and I could present you with a custom program that was dynamic and, you know, you'd be able to text me videos and things like that, do you think that would help you? That would increase the probability that you achieve your goals? They'd probably say, yeah, well, if you'd like, we could talk about this new solution that I have for you. And then you can present the hybrid program. Okay, that's exactly how you can sell it. And most of you guys are probably just sending emails, right? If you've tried to sell a hybrid program before, you probably send an email, you send a text. That's just lazy, right? It's just lazy. It's literally like you are saying that people don't want to buy this program, but you haven't mastered this sales process. Okay, and that is very, very important. Now, how can you start? This is literally what we tell people inside of our program, okay? Look at your current roster, identify on that roster who is the ideal athlete, which is why going back to step number 1, right? Why that is so important. We need to identify who the ideal avatar is. And then we need to set up the meeting and make offers to every single one of these people who are actually the ideal avatar, okay? And a couple people will say yes, minimum, if you don't totally suck and if you actually believe in the hybrid program. If you do not believe in the hybrid program, then it's going to be difficult for you to sell, right? If you don't believe in the hybrid program, you probably just need to do more research and understand that your once a week lessons are just not nearly enough in order to actually help your athletes keep up in 2025. Like, it's actually insane if you don't believe in the hybrid program, right? It is actually insane. But I digress. Okay, this is for the people who actually believe in the hybrid program, right? Once you make the offers, you start training, okay? You notice how I didn't say build out your hybrid program and then pitch it to them, right? Because it's a custom program for each individual and you're going to build it out as you're training them, okay? And then you're going to use that foundation to then train the people online. And once you do something hybrid, I guarantee you'll be like, oh my goodness, why did I not start this earlier? Like you will be just shocked at the results that you get and how easy it is to fulfill on this and how much more bought in your athletes are strictly by just holding them accountable more. It's crazy. It's crazy. You will be disappointed the day that you start training athletes in a hybrid or online setting. You will be disappointed that it took you so long to start. That is my one promise I can make to you, okay? So from there, here are some examples, okay? Here's a template that we give all of our clients. But as you can see right here, I give a focus of the day, and I say quality over quantity, take your time between reps and make sure you're getting quality work. And then your homework for the day, send one video of 2 to 3 swings, and then I just tell them to upload it to a Google Drive. There are obviously online training apps that you can use. There are a ton of them. A lot of people get caught up over like, oh my God, what's the best app to use? They're all the same. It's like if you're a hitting coach and your athlete goes like, what's the best bat to use? Like, dude, if you're a good hitter, you're a good hitter. Like you could hit with anything, right? It's just personal preference. It's just about what is best for you. So thinking that there's a perfect app is along the lines of like waiting for conditions to be perfect to start. You're just creating reasons as to why you're not going to start, okay? Here's a Google Sheet that is probably better than any program that most of the people watching this have ever put together, strictly because I understand how player development works, right? So as you can see right here, I have the program built out for them, and it's just basic drills. Like I didn't go super hard. This is for a made up athlete, right? But then you could take that and you could put it directly into an online training app where they can come in here, they can click the exercise, and then they can watch a demonstration video, and then they can send, as you can see right here, they can click that thing and then send a video of them doing the drill back, and then they can mark it off as completed, and then you can come through there and be like, hey, I saw you didn't mark off your exercises as completed. Are you actually doing your work? You can hold them accountable instead of the next time they show up to the lesson, you're like, hey, did you do the drills? And they're like, oh, no, I don't know, right? You can actually stay ahead of it. So here's an example of one of our clients, Reagan. Here's an example of what one of her programs looks like, right? So she just goes, remember to send in last 2 reps or last set of only each drill listed. And then she has all the drills right there with the sets and rep ranges, and then a video of the program, right? So it's a lot easier to build the program as you go. And a hack, a bonus, if you're paying attention, right? You can actually have your athletes demonstrate the exercises that you're going to have them do in the program, and then you just film it during your sessions, and then you put it into the app, right? So that way you don't have to make all these videos, in your own time. I'm trying to be efficient here, okay? So that is how to create the program. Now, if you actually want to do this online, the most important part is to develop and implement an acquisition strategy. And this is what I teach all my clients, right? Number 1, you want to drive traffic, and I'll show you what that means. Then you want to build trust, and then you want to convert the audience that you have after building the trust, right? And then I'll show you what that looks like. And then you have a client. If you miss any of these steps, you're never, ever, ever going to sell your online training program, okay? If you miss these steps, most people are going right for the throat. They get somebody to come to their Instagram page. Like if you're trying to sell online training right now and you get somebody to come to your Instagram page and you're like, hey, are you here to buy my online training program? Like think about how insane that is. Imagine walking up to somebody on the street and somebody's like, or somebody says like, hey, I like your shirt. And you go, thanks. Do you want to buy it? Like that's insane, right? And that is what you're doing when you make an offer to a stranger like that. So here's how you actually can do it, okay? And I'll go step by step through the funnel, okay? And the reason why it's a funnel is because people will drop off at each stage. That's why it's so important to be very targeted, okay? Because we want to shoot at a high clip. When we take our shots, we want to hit. We don't want to just take 1,000,000 shots and hope that it hits. You guys are coaches. You don't have time to do stuff like that, right? So, number 1, we want to drive traffic. And what that means is we want to let people know who we are because people do business with those that they know, like, and trust, right? So we are building the know factor. They are knowing who we are by creating engaging organic content that gets reach, and we can run simple Instagram ads. And I'll show you examples here in a second of a few different of our clients that are actually using engaging organic content and some of them that are using ads, okay? So we want to attract the type of athlete you want to work with into your ecosystem, right? And start building trust. And then from there, this is where the sauce is. This is where the money is actually made. This is where the trust is actually built. Is it's not just posting on social media here and there and hoping that somebody clicks and DMs you and says, I want to buy. That is not how people buy anything, right? So stop assuming that that's how it's going to be. You need to build the trust. And what you want to do whenever somebody becomes aware of who you are, that's when you start building trust, okay? So they can know, like, and trust you. And the way that you can do that is by Instagram stories, Instagram carousels, Instagram reels, client interviews, and YouTube videos. And the purpose of those, or the things that you should be showing in those, is number one, client results, okay? Can you help somebody who is just like me? You want to show that, which is why the hybrid program is so important, so you can show people who you're actually working with in real time, and you can document their process, and people will follow along with it, okay? They absolutely will follow along with that journey, okay? Number two, deliver your most valuable information for free, okay? If you're not willing to give away your best information for free, somebody else is, okay? Look at me giving away all this sauce in this video. This is my best information. This is showing you exactly what you need to do and exactly the step-by-step process, okay? The reason why somebody is going to pay you is because they want your help specifically. They want to know how it applies to them. That is why somebody is going to pay you on the internet for your coaching program, okay? That alone is going to be worth the watch on this time, just for you to know that. Okay, it's not about the information. People are not going to pay you for the information. They're going to pay you for the implementation. How does this work for me, right? How does this work for me? And then number three, humanize yourself and show them you're a real person. Like post your kid, post your wife or your husband or you know, whatever. Post yourself walking down the street, talk to the camera. Let people build that connection with you. Build that know, like, and trust factor. That is going to be what actually converts and builds that trust, okay? Number three, okay, third step in the funnel. Once they get to know you, once they trust you, and once they like you a little bit, then, right, we can have DM conversations and send people to application forms that then send people to a calendar link that allow us to get on a Zoom call, okay? And what that does is we're qualifying who we want to work with. We don't want to talk to everybody in the DMs. We don't want to have everybody fill out an application form. We don't want to talk to everybody on a Zoom call. Only the people who are probable to actually sign up. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and you're being annoying, okay? And you want to get to know your audience on a deeper level. For those of you guys that are out there thinking you need to just send people to a website, put your prices up there, and just let people buy directly through, let me know how that goes for you. I've never, ever, ever seen it work. Worked with hundreds of coaches. Look up Tread Athletics. Try and find their price. Try and find what their offer is. What are they going to do? They're going to make you fill out an application, they're going to get on a call, and they're going to pitch you their program for $500, $600 a month, right? Tread Athletics is a like $20 million company training baseball players online, right? Look them up if you don't believe me. Look them up. And that's what they do. They use their social media profile to create engaging content. They make all this content on social media to get people to fill out an application form, and then they pitch them their program on a call, right? That is how people want to be sold in 2025. They don't want to just go to a website and click a button and be like, oh, here are all the offers. Here's all the 72 different offers that he gives, right? That is why you don't know how to do this, because you're trying to sell like you do in person, where you just put your rates up on a website and let people book directly in. People want to know how it works for them. They want to know how it works for them. Think about it. If you were to buy some like online program, you probably wouldn't want to just go to the program or go to a website and look at the menu and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy this. Especially if it was expensive, like if it was costly. You would probably want to talk to somebody and see, does this actually work for me? And how? And do I trust this person? You would probably want to do your research a little bit, right? It's the exact same thing, okay? So what we're trying to do in the application and in the DM conversation is create a gap between where they are and where they want to go. So that way when we get on the call, we can present our offer as the solution to go from where they are right now to where they want to go. And that is how you can sell online training. Okay, most people think that it's just create a little bit of content on social media. Obviously, there's a little bit more strategy to it, right? And then obviously when you get on the call, you want the parents on the call. That is game right there. You want the parents on the call, and you want to present your program live and answer any questions that they have, okay? Because you actually want to create a connection with this athlete. If you're actually like in this game to help people, like obviously we want to make money. Let's not kid ourselves. That's why you're still watching this video, right? But we actually want to make sure that we're helping the right types of people, because I promise you, I've made this mistake before. No client, no price is worth the headache that a bad client will give you, okay? And at the same time, if you sign somebody up into your program that you really can't help, it's like, you know, it's a little bit slimy. It's a little bit slimy, right? And we don't want to do that, okay? So this is exactly how you can follow, okay? Now, let me show you some examples of how you actually can create this stuff, okay? Ian Jenkins, for example, what he does is he uses his organic reach, and you see right here, he gets hundreds of thousands of views. He's like mastered the organic content game. It's not luck, by the way. For those of you guys that think it's luck, it's not luck. There is a science to it. Go watch all of his content, okay? Go watch all of his content, and you will see that there is a strategy, that he's trying to do. He's making engaging content and then building trust to get people to click this link in his bio or DM him. And then he sends all of those people that DM him, once he qualifies them, right, to this page where they can watch this video that'll tell them more about how their program works. Remember when I talked about the YouTube videos over here, right? The YouTube videos, some of the most important stuff that you could possibly have, okay? Right? So then they can click a button and book a one-on-one call and then fill out the application when they're booking the call, okay? And so that is how Ian Jenkins takes people from they just found out about who he is to actually getting on a call and being well framed, right? They know that they're about to talk about how they can buy the program, okay? Reagan Glantz, she runs a very, very similar funnel, okay? We actually built this funnel for her, okay? So people come onto her page. They'll either DM her, you see right there, DM me catch. They'll either DM her or they'll click the link in the bio. Doesn't matter. Either way, they're going to get sent to this page, okay? They're going to watch this video that breaks down how our program works, makes the offer directly on the landing page. They click the button, and they book a call. Here's some sauce, right? It says, schedule a call with me below. A parent must be on the call. Once they book the call, they're redirected to this call confirmation page, which tells them how to prepare for the call, right? It tells them how to prepare for the call, because most of the time, like this stuff, these first 3 steps are for the athlete. This is for the parents to do their research to trust you, okay? So this explains, you know, how to prepare. This explains, you know, the case studies and testimonials, and then frequently asked questions, and then a sneak peek into the program before they actually get on the call, so that way they're actually prepared, right? Here's an example, like a super simple example. So some of you guys might think, oh, I need to build a website. I need to do this. I need to do that. No, you don't. Look at Joe Zeller. Joe Zeller makes like $15,000, $20,000 a month. And a little side tangent on Joe. Joe was really good at getting reach, but he couldn't get anybody to buy his program. So he came out to my house at an in-person mastermind in March. And I pretty much had an intervention with him. I was like, bro, you need to dial in on one specific type of person and just go all in on them. And you can go look at his content. Go look at his page. Go look at his page, and you'll see that after the halfway point of March, all of his content is about the knuckleball. And that is why he's making $15,000 a month plus right now off the back of his social media profile. And he doesn't even have a website. He literally doesn't even have a website. He drives traffic to his page, right? Gets tons of people to reach out, and they DM him and stuff like that. And then he'll send them this YouTube video before the call that just breaks down what his program is like. Super simple. Literally doesn't even have a website. And he's making $15,000 a month doing this, okay? Strictly because he makes really good content. He builds a lot of trust. He's built up a lot of goodwill. And he's got a really good video that breaks down how he can help, okay? Now, here are some examples of people that use paid advertising to push their program. Anthony makes like $25,000 a month on the back of his program, or on the back of his social media profile. 7,600 followers. He hit his first 10K month with like 2,000 followers. Okay, guys. So like, it's not about how many followers you have. It's about having a very specific message. And so Anthony runs this ad that tells people to follow him. You see right here in the middle, it's got way more views than all the other ones. It's because he's boosted it, right? He's paying money for the reach, and he spent about $900 and gets about $25,000 back. You can do the math on the return. They come to his profile and they either DM him or they go to this landing page where they can, again, complete the application and get on a call and figure out if they're a good fit to actually work with him, okay? And then AJ Martucci started this when he was actually a school teacher, and now he makes like $20,000 to $30,000 a month, right? On the back of a following of 5,700. He's had to rebuild his Instagram page three times, right? Because he had issues, and now he's actually, figured out how to not get his account in trouble, right? So AJ runs a DM ad, right? They click the ad and they DM him, and he immediately sends them to this page where they can go and apply to work with him. They fill out the application, they get on a call with him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? So these are two examples of people with smaller followings, and the only reason why AJ has 5,700 followers and Anthony has 7,600 followers is because they're running ads to get in front of people, and because they understand this principle, right? Because they understand this principle that we have to nurture people and then get them on a Zoom call. That is how they're able to sell $2,500, $3,000 programs. And all 5 of these people are people obviously that we've worked with, and we got proof right here, right? Where's Joe? Okay, yeah, Joe passed 10K for the first time in March, just like I said, made 5K in the past 3 days, June 15th. Okay, where obviously Ian's been killing it, Reagan's been killing it, Anthony 25K cash, $900 spent on ads, right? And then obviously there are a ton of other people that we've worked with as well, okay? So you might be thinking at this moment in time, how do you actually get started with this? And you really have 3 options, okay? Option 1 is to do absolutely nothing, where congratulations, you just wasted so much of your time, right? Hopefully that's not you. Right? Hopefully that's not you. Option 2 is to try everything here on your own. And if you follow the path I just outlined, you could probably get results, right? You could probably figure out all this stuff on your own, okay? I figured out all this stuff on my own. Some other people figure out this stuff on their own, okay? And you know what? If that's what you want to do, that's fine, but it's probably going to take you a lot longer than if you got my help directly, which is actually the shortcut, okay? Option number 3 is you can get my help directly to implement the information that I've just covered. And this is for people who want the shortcut and they want to guarantee that they get results, okay? Because we've helped a ton of people do this, right? We know exactly what we're doing. We've helped each of these people build their online training businesses to make multiple 5 figures per month. Some of our clients make 6 figures per month, actually, training athletes online, okay? So if you want our help, if you want the shortcut, right? This is exactly how we can help you. We will help you sign up 10 new high-paying online training athletes in the next 6 months, guaranteed, or we'll send you all your money back. And here's a breakdown of the program, okay? If you want to learn more about how we can help you, go down below, fill out the application, and book a call, and we'll speak and see if you're the right fit to actually, implement this type of stuff, okay? We're only going to work with people that we actually think that we can help, which is why we have such a crazy guarantee, okay? I'm not just going to sit here and make that guarantee to everybody. If you're not qualified, I'm not going to sit there and take the money, because I know at the end of the day, I'm going to have to give it back, right? So with that being said, with our program, it's a 6-month program, and we have a community of over 100 coaches right here that's super, super active, right? You see Jordan right there actually just closed 2 clients at $4,250 a client, and then actually just closed somebody today too. So like, what is that, 12K in 3 days? Not bad, okay? And then also, we have an extensive training library that'll walk you through step by step. We also do one-on-one coaching calls and one-on-one messaging. As you see, Joe Suarez right here sent me a couple messages, gave him a few pointers, booked a couple calls, just strictly by switching the messaging in his marketing, right? And then we have 5 group calls a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You don't have to attend all these because all of them are recorded, and we have a gigantic library that you can go back through, and we can direct you if you have specific questions for your specific situation, right? And then as you can see right here, all the recordings are there. So if, like I mentioned, if you actually want our help doing this and you want help signing up 10 new high-paying online training athletes in the next 6 months guaranteed, or we'll send you all your money back, then go ahead, apply, and book a call with us down below. and we will talk and see if we can actually help you. At the end of the day, look, like I said, you could probably figure this out on your own, okay? Our offer is designed to help you get there faster, right? We've helped hundreds and hundreds of people do this, and we have a full process of exactly how it works, where you go from the onboarding call, and we have one-on-one calls baked into the program to help you actually get the results that you're looking for, right? And we'll walk you through step by step exactly what you need to be doing, okay? And you might be wondering, how much does this cost? Well, look, it's a multiple four-figure investment, right? We have different levels of support based on what you actually need, right? And look, at the end of the day, we've helped multiple people do $100,000 per month and helped hundreds of coaches. We can help you generate an extra $100,000 to $200,000 a year by, plus by using these systems, not to mention the fact that you can create that income without actually having to spend time in the facility to make that money, okay? If we charge at least $20,000 to the right person, that would be justified, but even our highest ticket offer is less than $20,000, okay? So we are very, very good at what we do. We are exceptional. We are the best in the world at helping sports coaches train athletes online and actually learning how to do this three-step process, okay? We've proven it time and time and time again. We have multiple case studies. We have multiple examples, okay? So look, if you want my help directly, if you want my one-on-one help to help you sign up 10 new online training athletes in the next 6 months guaranteed, then go ahead, complete the application down below, book a call, and on the next page, there'll be a bunch of information about, next steps and how to prepare for the call, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and DM me directly on Instagram. I'll answer all of them for you. You can check out all my other YouTube videos, all my other case studies. We have 40 plus case studies on my YouTube channel that you can go and watch and see that these are actually real people, okay? But either way, look, you can take this information for what it is and go and try and apply it for yourself. You can probably get results, right? That's why I tried to make it so in-depth. Or if you obviously want our help, then you can book in a call with us down below. Either way, hope you enjoyed this video. Catch you in the next one. Peace.